Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast. Prepare for the SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I'm your host, Joe. We have a big old party cast going on right now. Aki's here, Bri's here, Chris is here, Andy's here, and Grant is here. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Just fine.
Doing
fine.
Great. Where's Pernell? Where are they?
Where is Pernell?
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
I don't know, not much. Just chilling, doing a show. Yeah. What's up with you?
Hell yeah, dude. I'm also doing that kind of.
I am on that show.
Oh my god, me too.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Hell yeah, dude, what a coincidence.
Man, y'all are so lucky. Y'all get to be on shows and shit.
Aki, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, what's that?
You're on the show too. Can't find the soundboard. Can't remember where it is. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh, I got a good one for this. Aki, you're on the show too.
It's all right.
What?
Fucking God. There's Pernell. Can he just do his review using his previous sound clips?
Like, I mean, we could try.
Could stitch
Pernell, is
together.
The game worth buying?
Fucking God. Whoa.
So we're gonna AI Pernell now.
I think so.
He's only 5 minutes late, and we're gonna
fucking God. Joe's gonna slowly get rid of all of us based on voice.
I can't get rid of all of you. That would be way too hard. Where's the Aki audio? Oh God, I don't know if we have any of Aki anymore. There was the stroke one, but
yeah, that's the only one that I know of.
Yeah, but it got replaced because I just replaced things way too quick on the soundboard. So
good job, drug addicts.
Like that.
Talking about Riz and Skibbity Toilet and all that.
Yeah, damn right.
He's rizzing it up.
It's all right.
What?
Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Yeah. He screamed what? That's why the name of the file is Matt Screams What. Oh, Ghetto Philosopher, thank you for the biddies. Thank you for hanging out, everybody in chat. How is everybody doing tonight? Grant, you haven't been on in a while. How are things going with you? Let's talk about you.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I was just going to come and hang out, and then I ended up playing a game that I'm going to review instead. But I just wanted to come and say hi because it's been a minute. I've been everywhere.
We were hoping to get you on for 1,000, but you've been busy as hell. What have you been up to?
Yeah, I missed 1K, and I've missed a few pinball games, but Bri's my girl.
That's all right. I missed 1K too, so
yeah,
fine.
I was there. Yeah, good. Yep. A lot of you made it. But no, I was gone to. I played a show, which was fun. I played my first solo Stemage show in a year, which was fun to knock the dust off of that. And then I went to Pinball Expo, which was really cool. You wouldn't believe the homebrew pinball scene. Can I tell you that people are building machines like coils and flippers and graphics, like the whole thing. People are making their own in their house and taking them to these shows, and they're all crazy, original, and strange. There's a guy that had a Borderlands 2 table that had the whole table was suspended on hydraulics and would lower, and you could pick up this little accelerometer and tilt the whole playfield, move the ball around.
Oh, shit.
Just someone had a Borderlands 2 table. There was a Sonic table there that was really good. It was crazy. But yeah, Pinball Expo.
My only exposure to homebrew pinball is the fact that you did the Metroid pinball table that some guy put together.
Yeah, the Metroid table.
Dave K is ready to go. I'm going to pull him in quick.
Sweet.
Dave K is here. Dave, how are you doing?
Hello, Dave.
Hear me?
Yes, we can kind of hear you. You're a little on the quiet side.
God damn it. I hate Discord. I hate it so much.
You're better now. So I
Okay,
think
good.
I don't know if you just.
I also moved the microphone closer to my mouth, which is also Discord's fault.
Discord.
Damn you,
Seriously,
Discord.
If I had the energy, I would shake my fist, but I don't. So that's where we are this evening.
You can just look at it. Look at your fist.
I'll give it the frowning of a lifetime is what I'm going to give it. None of you can see it, but rest assured, you can hear it in my voice. Anyway, how are the rest of you doing?
Grumble.
Grumble, young man, grumble.
So, Dave,
How are you guys
we are chatting with Stemage right now. He's about to tell us what all he's been up to. He was at a pinball expo talking about some of the homebrew pinball tables that were there. Do they like try to sell the tables while they're there, like the homebrew stuff? Do they try like, hey, can we auction this or can we sell this or something?
No, they're kind of one of one, and they're always making changes to it. And some of them are down. They'll go down and someone will knock a USB, cord loose and have to fix it. So it's like they're not ready to be banged on in the arcades by the children. I think the hope is that the big shot companies will take a look at what they're doing, like these are perhaps the next great designers of pinball. And so it's kind of like, it's also free R&D for companies that are too afraid to take big risks. They see what these kids are doing. And, but yeah, it was weird. It was like the indie booth at a pinball expo, basically over in the corner.
Cool as hell.
It was like a garage full of a bunch of DIY machines, but it was neat.
Did you do music for any of them?
No, I did not.
Were you trying to sell your services while you were there? Like, hey, your pinball table, you know what it needs? My guitar work.
Sound.
Metal.
Some guys have already had like custom music in there. Some had just pulled from random places and some had no sound at all. So, sound is kind of like I don't know. It's not an afterthought, but it's sort of last. You got to get a game playing first. You got to get like a game. It could be a video game or a pinball machine. You got to get it working right before you're loading it full of sound. So sometimes it's lower on the list of things to do. But yeah, the guy who did the Avatar machine that I did the sound for, he came from this scene. He built that Metroid machine, and then Jersey Jack saw what he was doing and poached him, scooped him up.
And then they got you.
Then they got me. Yeah. So it's
That's
wild.
Still so fucking cool that you did the music for the Avatar pinball table.
It's really very cool. It's very strange. Very cool.
So I'm out of the loop. Is this James Cameron's Avatar or Avatar like the TV show that is beloved?
This is Smurf Avatar, not Arrow Avatar.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This is James Cameron.
Right on.
Blue Man Group.
Yeah, you probably won't see Dances with Smurfs is what I've heard Avatar called, which is amazing.
Pretty good.
I've also heard that.
Yeah,
I find it to be accurate.
It is. I think it came from South Park. I think it was a South Park joke at some point, and it just sort of grabbed hold. But yeah, I doubt you're going to see the other Avatar pinball anytime soon. Maybe in the homebrew category. I don't know. Everybody's a fan of something, and some of those people know how to solder. So maybe those people will build a machine. I don't know.
Were there any you probably went over this, but I wasn't here, so forgive me. Were there any weird custom tables? I can understand why someone would want to make an Avatar pinball table or a Metroid one, but was there a My Dinner with Andre pinball table or something cool? Oh, God. The World According to Garp. Wow.
With just Eric Satie Dirge's music over it, and really get no. But I'm trying to think of what the strangest one was. There were a lot of original ones. There was one that was called Atom, ATOM, and it was a little barrel, like a barrel that sits on top of a table, and you put your arms around it, and the buttons are on the back, so you have to hug it. And you're looking down into it, and it's got regular flippers and balls and stuff, but you're basically doing nuclear fusion in this little tiny playfield, and then you get to a point where you fire a ball up and it spins around the top of the barrel over and over and over again, and you can feel it in your arms. It's very strange.
I don't know.
I'm sure you could just...
That's too much intimacy for pinball.
Yeah, I was going to say, who wants to hug their machines, But and I'm sure they could retheme it into a My Dinner with Andre if they get enough requests. So we should get in there getting their DMs.
You should. I would like. No one's going to do this because, thankfully, very few people have even heard of this movie. But someone should make a vampire dentist pinball table to.
I know about vampire dentist
properly. I'm glad someone else. I'm also sad that you know what that is because again, that movie is maybe. Vampire Dentist is the worst movie I have ever seen. Wow. You might think from the title that it's either about A, a vampire who is a dentist, or B, a vampire whose patients are all dentists. And you would be wrong. The movie isn't about fucking anything.
Wow, I'm looking.
I have not seen the movie yet, but I've heard it. I've heard its legend. And,
I watched it sober. Fear me.
Well, I mean, I'm always sober, so if I do watch it, it will be in an unmedicated state.
I've got a thing for bad movie night, so this might have to.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is on the list. This is just the DVD cover is like the worst.
Telling you, dude, that movie will be your fucking Waterloo. Like, don't tread into this lightly.
Now.
Proceed with caution. You're saying.
Yeah,
I bet I'll like it. I bet it won't be the worst movie I've seen.
That said, it should be immortalized with a pinball table. I
do wonder. So apparently, there was a book version published by the director last year. So
they made a novelization of Vampire.
Yeah. So hey Dave, if you really want to go deep, you could read.
I'm definitely
an audiobook.
finding that. They definitely should. With the stupid plastic vampire fangs in.
Definitely. You got to be like, talking.
I want
like a bunch of plastic in your mouth.
Yeah, I want their voice to be hard to understand and like increasingly wet as the audiobook kind of progresses. That's what I want.
That should be like a pull quote on the DVD. Increasingly wet.
I want it to be as unpleasant to experience as possible. In keeping with the, whole vampire dentist oeuvre,
Honestly, any like anything I listen to on like NPR sounds increasingly wet in a way that I can't stand it. Huh. The weird ass like compression mics that they use or something like that. It's picking up every little mouth sound, and I'm so aware of it when I'm listening to it.
Because NPR is like king dry boy radio. You would they would have a wet sound.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect as much moistness there. It's called mouth. It's called mouth click, and it's the bane of any audio producer's existence. I can tell you.
Wow.
And there are plugins for that. So NPR, you got money. Why don't you cut back on the mouth click? I don't know. Someone's giving them something.
Well, thank you for giving me a term for it because I was going to go with increasingly wet, but that's pretty good.
I think NPR probably has mouth click filter money. Like I feel pretty safe.
So they're just making my ears bleed as like a stylistic choice.
Yeah, they're just sitting on all that unspent wealth like a bunch of fat fucking dragons just cackling, watching you suffer.
This is why I don't listen to the radio.
Stay rich.
It is about the money you save, not about the money you earn. So that's true. But still, they could maybe be a bit less stingy for the sake of their listeners, who already have to put up with so much.
Yeah, true.
Oh man, I noticed Pernell's here. Pernell, how's it going? How long have you been here?
Yo, what's up, Pernell?
I've been skulking.
Just lurking in the background, waiting for your moment to strike.
Have you been dancing? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I'm not sure where I was going to dance to. I've never danced to discussion before. But I guess there's a first time for everything. Like, man, they're talking about pinball. I'm trying to put rhythm on how I describe the conversation because, again, I have no idea how to dance to a conversation.
Should have just got up and started fucking grinding. Just start doing the stanky leg. See where it takes you.
Fucking the air? What is this guy doing? I just don't know anymore.
Sir, you're being very distracting. Sir!
Could you stop with the thrusting, please?
Please put your pants back on.
Yeah, for once, I would like Pernell to be called sir without someone adding, "You're making a scene."
What would she just say? I dance to food. Now that's doable. Shit. I'll put a beat to food eating. Like, oh man, this is so damn tasty. Give me that.
Well, there's a rhythm to chewing that you can work with. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a good song, dude.
Eating,
you can play that in Clone Hero, can't you, Andy?
I probably could. Yeah, I've got a couple of people in there that could transpose that real quick.
just dance to a debate. Like, I don't even want to even try to. I can't fathom it. I guess if I could find some kind of rhythm and someone, stating their rebuttal or something, I don't know. I got nothing.
It's interpretive dance. It's interpretive dance.
One of our sweet listeners in the chat is saying they disagree, and you can dance to conversations.
Now, with that said, though, I do know of the concept of, like, say, for example, slam poetry or people that will just put a beat to a bunch of words. That exists, and that is doable. I'm saying a beat-free conversation. Just, we're talking right now. Don't slap a beat on it, but you're going to dance to it? Where? How? I don't understand.
You should choreograph a dance to a Neil Breen monologue.
Oh man!
I think that is what the cultural moment demands.
Now we're talking about bad movies.
Yeah, Dave with the bad movie drops like left and right.
Look, I have destroyed my brain. I have completely smoothened it. And also poked it full of holes.
I'm just mad that you brought up like vampire dentist, but no one's ever released a crocodile dentist movie because clearly we're lacking something there, and it should have already existed. We have the game; they should have made a movie based on the game. It didn't happen, but we have vampire dentist somehow.
Oh, we need a movie. We need a movie based on a Neil Breen, or game based on a Neil Breen movie. I mean, this has to happen.
Hell yeah!
My body is ready.
It should be one of those games like Seventh Guest, where it has like the real footage of people doing stuff, but it degrades every time you watch it.
Nice.
Looks like a real player video.
Also, they should just remake the Seventh Guest, but Neil Breen is the guy you have to kill at the end. That's really what they should do, I think.
I'll play.
Thimber saying that people did a dance trend to dialogue from Genshin Impact.
What? Okay. Please, if you have a link to that, share it with Joe or something. He can send it to me later. I need to see that.
Put the link in the chat.
Good.
Or in the Discord.
That delivered.
Oh yeah, that was quick, Thimber. I can't watch it though because I'm doing the show, so you guys will have to watch it and tell me what you think.
We're also doing the show.
Yeah, but my audio gets picked up.
Oh,
ours doesn't.
I'll check it out when I'm done recording for the night.
Up, does it?
Oh,
I wouldn't know. I don't usually watch streams when I'm on the show. That's a lie.
I am watching the stream, but it's muted. I'm
playing a game right now.
What about me? I'm playing all my games.
Playing a game is easy to do on the show. It's watching.
I do it all the time.
During the show.
Everybody plays you have to on the show.
You have to play the game if you're going to review it. Come on, guys!
You cannot play it before the show.
Certainly, we have that much integrity.
I'm typically playing porn games while we're doing this shit.
Don't you typically review porn games as well?
Yeah, sometimes. They're not usually the same games, but
okay, fair enough.
She wishes they were.
Yeah, I own probably 3 or 4 times as many porn games as I've reviewed.
That's
well, good. I eagerly await your upcoming review of, I don't know, Buttholes with Arms in Them 3, Tokyo Drift, or whatever it is you're playing.
I heard that one was
good.
That's
a game.
That's a game. Amazing.
It's a bit of a departure from the previous 2.
It's been described as transcendent.
Yeah, they're drifting now. And you can fart to boost your speed. It's fantastic.
Oh, jeez.
Well, don't give it away yet. Wait for the review.
Give it away.
Yes, I mean, I hate to say give us a taste in this context, but like just a little bit. You got to save the real
phrasing. Don't give us a
taste. No, it's too late.
Related.
Already been
give it a taste.
Not all heroes wear capes. What is that in reference to?
Scared to know at this point, but
Aki doing the work.
Seriously, doing the yeoman's work of playing Buttholes with Arms in them 3, which we all appreciate.
You did have me at Tokyo Drift, though. I mean, that's kind of like...
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I mean, if it's on sale on Steam, it's on our wish list, so...
Even if it's not on sale on Steam, it's probably still on my wish list.
I would probably get that early access.
Nah.
Which I also hate saying given the context, but I've once again, I'm too late.
Now there's another game we need to have made from this show.
Turns out a lot of game industry terminology lends itself really well to pornography. Who knew?
Good times.
Well, I mean, it's not like the companies aren't fucking us, so it might as well be related to pornography somehow.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but the indie companies aren't usually the ones screwing over the customers. It's usually the big guys doing that, and they don't release porn.
And there
are some big ones that do, actually.
And what they do release is generally as garish and unpleasant as modern pornography, so it all kind of evens out in the wash.
It does.
Correct. That is very correct.
That's a really good analogy, too.
Thank you. I do what I can.
I'm
amazed I have this much energy.
I've been pretty good, man. Thanks again for tuning in last night, man, and hanging out with me a little bit.
How'd the stream go? I know you had some stream issues with Twitch, but
dude, I don't know what that was. That was absolutely insane. I just kept looking over, and it was like, "Hey, another ad! Hey, another ad!" And I was like, "What the fuck, man?" You know, I felt so bad for everybody in there too, because I was like, "Oh, you know, unless you're subscribed, you're just gonna see ad after ad after ad, you know, and the song's gonna cut out." So, but no, yeah, thanks for tuning in, man, and hanging out and grabbing some songs for us too.
I love getting you songs for that game.
It was, dude. There was actually a lot of good songs. You know, we had OCB pop in there, who is new, and actually like transposes some of those songs too. So slid in and was like, "Hey, you should check out this song," you know. And I always love it when people do that too, where they're like, "Hey, you know, do you want to play this one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" You know. And then I find out it's them that actually like transposed the band, you know. And so that was cool. I'm trying to get them to transpose some songs from my old band, you know, on there too. But
that'd be cool.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah, but
I need to find people who are really good at doing that, because I have like a huge wish list of songs that I just want customs for. Like, I would love to see the rock version of "So Long Goodbye" from 10 Years.
Yeah, oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Transposed in Rock Band or Clone Hero or whatever.
Any of them, yeah. I mean, like there's so many too. I was looking through them. I was actually looking through it the other day, and there's a couple old bands that I used to like play with while we were on tour and stuff. And I found some of their tracks on there, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's awesome!" And not as many songs as I would like, but dude, there's some good stuff. I mean, between chorus and rhythm verse, man, there's just thousands and thousands of songs on there. Never would have expected that.
And they're all community made.
Yeah.
I was at VGM Con. I was at a friend's house, and he pulled up a Clone Hero and had just a pile of stuff. And on a whim, I wanted to see if the Attitude song by Steve Vai was in there, because that was the song that got me to play guitar at all when I was small. Mm-hmm. And it was in there. And it was, and that song is unhinged, and the note chart was as unhinged as you'd expect. And it was fantastic. I could have spent. I got to get me a USB guitar so I can get in here and play all the weird deep cuts that, you know.
Attitude song's actually in Rock Band 4. That's an official.
Is it
song.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you
cool.
Could just
really?
pick that up in RB4. Yeah.
Well, they were going for deep cuts then. That's cool.
Stem, I can hook you up too, man. Mine, I got mine. It's like that world has gotten so big too, without anybody really knowing too. I got my guitar from a guy that like 3D prints them, you know.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay.
he did like a custom like color for me and everything too. Sent it to me. He was like, "Do you want me to build it, or do you want to like build it yourself?" And I was like, "I definitely want to build it myself." And that's like a cool experience too. So So he sent it out to me, and I got to build it. But yeah, it's awesome, man.
Hit me with the links. I want the hot links.
Yeah, I'll hit you up, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
But there's like what's funny too is like there's so many songs. Like I have over like I think I checked last night. I have like 901 or 2 songs. Just barely over. And nobody asks for a song that I've already have. Like Joe comes in and he's like, "All right, I need you to download like these 10 songs. We're gonna play all those." And I'm like, God damn it, man!
Well, you're like, it's Metal Monday, so I'm like, bitch, I got metal for you.
Yeah, no, it's always good. I'm just like, oh, all right, what are we gonna play today? I think it's awesome. But
good excuse to get to that 1,000. You got to get to that 1,000. Come on,
I'm close. I'm getting there.
I have my buddy Carl has customs on Rock Band 4 on the PS4, and he has like 11,000 songs downloaded.
Oh god damn, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
And he has some Stemage and Metroid Metal downloaded.
That's wild.
Cool.
He has Crystal Flash from Vert.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a custom. The whole fucking thing, all 20 some minutes.
That's pretty custom.
It's crazy what people will make for customs. People will do full albums.
Man.
Like one file is 60 minutes long and you got to play it. And there's people who will FC those things too because they're insane.
FC means, of course,
full combo.
Full cuts. What I knew that. I was getting ready to say it. Full combo.
Yep.
They get 100% on that too?
What was that?
They getting 100% on those too?
Some people, yeah. There's some crazy players out there.
Dang.
Yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts, but it's cool to just be like, hey, play the entire Automata EP from Between the Buried and Me. And he's like, okay, 37 minutes later, it's like, all right, that was fun. Now what?
Wow.
Man, dude. Well, I downloaded that Symphony X song the other day, the Odyssey, and those songs are always fun because I'm like, all right, like who's gonna stick around for the full like 24 minutes of this, You kind of see people like, all right, is this one almost done, or you get like a raid in there too, and it's like, hold on, I'll get to you after the song, and it's like 16 minutes still, I'm like, I'll be there, don't worry.
And even Rock Band 4 has some crazy long songs. They have 2112, they have Inagata Devita, they have the Who Super Bowl Smash Up is like 13 minutes.
I found it interesting that there's some songs that you love, but they're not as fun to play. And then you might get surprised. Like there's just ones that are fun to play on the controller. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And there may not be what you'd expect. It's a good reason to go and just try a bunch of stuff you don't know. Cause there might be some, I remember discovering, an Endless Sporadic is a band, and they had a song in Guitar Hero 3. I think it was called Anything. I can't remember. But one of the guys worked at Harmonix at the time, and they had, people that worked at Harmonix could get songs in the extra tracks. And I fell in love with that band, and I still love them. Great prog band, and it was like my favorite song to play at Guitar Hero 3. I don't know why I'm saying all this. Anyway, I'm going to go buy
rhythm games.
I have to go buy this guitar now that Barry just sent me.
Yeah, I just checked it out. It says that it's sold out, but I'm gonna message the dude too because I've been talking to him since I got mine.
So it's got guts. It's got a PCB in there that'll work with PC. Is the story?
Yeah, which is yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're like sturdy too. Like they hold up like really nicely. I bought a different strap for it because the strap is kind of dorky, but
I got straps.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I'm good on straps. That's the part I have. It's just the rest I don't have. Wow.
I need a good big strap. Like all the ones that they include with the guitars now are like super tiny.
Yeah,
like the guitar rides up around my neck. I need big like honking strap so I could hold it comfortably.
Yeah, you need a big boy strap. You need to go to the little used music shop, and they'll sell you one for $5. Get you a real one, nice, comfortable one. Yeah, these.
Remember back in the day, that's how I used to play Rock Band. I actually ended up buying the actual equipment for myself, like the actual straps and stuff. Because the stuff that comes with is like just very low quality. It'll fall apart, and I can barely get it around me. So Yeah.
And what if you want it to hang all the way to the floor, like Fieldy or the bass player from Seven Dust? Like, what if you want to look like it's 2002? What are you going to do? You got to buy another strap.
Or conversely, what if you want to look like the bassist from Church of Misery and have the instrument so low that you're playing entirely on the neck?
Yes.
Wow.
What if?
Yeah, like he only plays on the neck because his guitar is like his bass is basically at his feet.
Jesus.
I don't understand it. It does look cool, but I feel like it shouldn't. And if anyone else was doing it, they would look like a dork. But he manages to pull it off somehow.
That's almost like playing an upright bass.
A little bit. Yeah, I mean he's not slapping, but yeah, kind of.
It's art.
Weird. It is art. That's speaking of, I would like Rock Band to make a chainsaw attachment specifically so you can properly play the Lumberjack by Jackal. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that song.
Yeah, dude. That'd be rad.
It is maybe the dumbest song ever written. I fucking love it. And it does have a chainsaw in the chorus. And you should be able to play it.
No, they have
make
chainsaw controllers for GameCube and PS2.
That's not the same. You should be able to play a chainsaw for exactly one song and literally no other ones.
Yeah, that's fair. They should release a peripheral just for that.
They should. Look, man, we got like 20 years of livable Earth left. We got to pack as much fun into those as we can. Just saying.
That's the damn truth.
This show's getting morbid. Damn.
A little bit of reality in your gaming entertainment, fucker.
Speaking of gaming entertainment, is there anything else anyone wanted to talk about, or should we get into reviews?
I think I asked this last week, but I did because Jacob answered the question, so I'm not going to do it again. Actually, no, I can because we got Grant and a couple. We got new people in here that weren't here last week, so I'll ask you guys specifically then. In the years coming up, what are your current marks for Game of the Year this year?
Oh, this year?
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Earlier in the year feels like 3 years ago, and that's when I was playing stuff. That Prince of Persia game was real good.
That was a good.
It was so good they disbanded the entire company. Entire team. Bummer.
That's our games industry.
I'm gonna think of another one though, so everyone else go.
At least they got DLC on that one too.
They did. They finished their calendar, which is nice. But yeah.
If I had to pick a game of the year so far, I got to go Astrobot.
Yeah, Astrobot was pretty damn good.
I'm trying to borrow my brother-in-law's PS5 just so I can play that and Silent Hill, and then give it back because I don't need to buy a PS5. Alan Wake 2 was last year. I don't know what the hell came out this year. Anyway, Prince of Persia.
Surprising a lot of things, and it all feel like it just blended together.
Yeah, I'm like going through my list right now, trying to figure out which ones came out this year or just on the cusp of last year too. Like, I don't know.
It's hard.
That's a tough question, man.
It's a fun question, but it's a tough one. I find myself, it's not even necessarily because of this. I think it largely is still because of this show. I dive into a lot more indie stuff. So I always am thinking about what games do I like the most this year. It always ends up being this like weird little herbal burble game that nobody knows what it is when I bring it up. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like I told people before, took a picture of the game I think is one of my games of the year right now. Didn't name it. And typically, most games of the year type titles, people know what it is when you see it. Because like, oh, it's in the news. It's people were playing it. Even if I haven't played it, I've seen it. And people are like, what the hell game is this? I'm like, yeah, that's how it goes. Garbanzo Quest.
I don't know if it's like top on my list, but it's the first one that came to mind is Botany Manor.
Played that because of your review. That was cool. That was super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see. I need to look up Botany Manor, or better yet, listen to your review. I like puzzlers, so there we go. So I'm gonna have to look that up for sure. See, I can appreciate that. And then
very
another
high
thing
in joy of discovery.
Oh, there's discovery involved too. It's like things that open up as you progress that expands on the puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carnage's saying it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Into it then. Well, you know I don't have Game Pass though, but I'll still look into it. And before someone says, "Why in the world won't you have Game Pass?" You see how many games I review it every couple of weeks. I don't need Game Pass.
I canceled
Game Pass to play online now.
People ask Pernell if he has Game Pass, and he's like,
"Fucking no." We play games online. That's a rarity. I mean, there were times like I play not Elden Ring, though I do that too. But like, I'm that guy nowadays where like if I manage to get a friend to play a game online with me and I'm interested, I'll just get a subscription just for the period I'm playing it in and just let it go. I used to do them yearly. Now I'll be the guy that's like, I'll get one for 1 month, play it for the month. The game's not being played anymore. I'm good till we play something again. And then I'll just get another month subscription or so. Unless it's something like, again, like consistently playing Elden Ring or something, I'll just get a year because I'm like, I intend to play this for months or multiple months in a row. So unfortunately, my social gaming landscape has changed a lot over the years.
Now, the way I look at Game Pass is if there's a game I want to play, like Indiana Jones, like I kind of want to play it, but I don't want to buy it. That's $70. Or I could buy 3 months of Game Pass.
True.
That is true.
So I play it for 3 months and then I reevaluate what else is coming out or what has come out that I wanted to play that I didn't have to buy because it's on Game Pass.
I mean, like I said, in a normal circumstance, that would be my logic too. But I play so many games consistently and regularly that it's like I don't need another stack of free games. Well, air quote free games to play. So it's like I got enough now.
That I've extended mine with Microsoft rewards.
Oh, so, that's a good way to do it.
I'm good until the end of next year with Game Pass.
Speaking of which, did you hear about that random knuckle bar that I apparently came across in the news today? Who apparently, I guess PSN's increasing its price or something. So they spent like $2,200 to get a subscription with the current price rate to damn near infinity.
Didn't that happen a while ago? I don't know why that's making the news again now. I just showed up and I'm like, why is this popping up again?
Maybe it's a new guy that did it because of multiple knuckleheads out there.
Jeffa saying Balatro was there.
Oh, Balatro. Yeah. I just saw that.
It's going to be on my list.
History. Yeah.
Balatro is going to be like another game that's currently eluding me right now, but it's going to come across my mind a little bit later. Why it belongs on the Game of the Year list, regardless of whether you personally liked it or not. And that's simply because when was the last time? That's what it was. Vampire Survivors that did this last time. When was the last time a game before Vampire Survivors came out where it was so loved that it created an entire genre or subgenre of game?
Yeah,
there are tons of Balatro likes now. We got Yahtzee, we got slot machines, we got freaking pachinko. Everybody wants to be Balatro now, and I'm not knocking it because, that's how it works in the industry. And I'm not going to complain about getting more of a thing I like. But, man, Balatro is the new hotness in the genre that follows suit from it. So it belongs for sure. Also, I want to get back to playing it. But, God, that game is crack.
That's a pretty stirring case for Balatro, I got to say.
Oh, if you've have you not played Balatro before?
Fucking Mr. Pernell goes to Washington over here.
All due respect, if you have not played Balatro, you got to get on that shit.
I haven't played it because of how addictive I hear it is. And I'm worried about getting sucked into it really bad.
Well, keep in mind, it's addictive, and it's not addictive in the one more power-up sort of thing. It's more so addictive in, like, if I'm having fun with it, I'm going to do a run. Maybe one more run, but it's not leveling up to get the next cool piece of armor type addictive.
Yeah.
Which I respect Balatro's addictive more than get the next piece of armor addictive more. It's just a fun game. And it's nice to see cool combos pop off and get crazy scores. My kid's daughter did like a hack on the game. I guess it's like a whole modding community for it, where it just kind of takes the brakes off of all the mods and it creates custom jokers and junk. So that the scores will just go into the stratosphere. One day I got to the house. She had a turn that took 45 minutes. One turn. Took 45 minutes to run through. And I'm sitting there thinking, why the hell would you do this? Where's the joy? She's like, I just wanted to do it because I wanted to see if I could. And apparently there's a whole community of people out there with the mod who their whole thing is the challenge to see who could have the longest turn in a Balatro run.
They're going to turn it into Settlers of Catan if they're not careful.
Jokers of Catan. But like that was a good mentioning because that belongs on damn near everybody's list. Even if you didn't play it, if you didn't like it, then just for the innovation aspect of it.
Anyone else have any other game of the year thoughts?
I will go ahead and put in my vote for Buttholes with Arms in Them 3 Tokyo Drift.
I'm going to link your thoughts game, on that. Sir.
Does it qualify?
Masterpiece. It elevates the medium.
It is superior to all other games, yes.
So there's two of you who have played
It's a game all about family.
And nightmarish physical elasticity.
I mean,
what's not to like?
All right. Should we get to reviews? Because we got a lot.
Yes, we possibly do.
All right, let's dive into these. First game is a quick preview of Nightmare Shift, developed and published by Binary Lunar. It is releasing Q1 2025 on Steam and is available to wishlist now. Nightmare Shift is a psychological horror game that follows a female protagonist who starts a new job as a motel receptionist only to find her life spiraling into a dark and mysterious reality. As she questions her sanity, she must uncover the truth behind the eerie and abnormal events around her. Aki, you played a quick demo of this. Tell us your thoughts.
It was pretty decent. It only covered the one night where you're working your shift and when you go home to your apartment after your shift is over. You only really dealt with a couple things during the shift, and the home section was very, very short as well. So all in all, the game, once you know where everything is, because you have to actually fill up a room full of stuff before the person can take the room, like towels and soap and crap like that. You have to find those things and put them where they belong. Once you know where that is, it's real quick to do it the second time. It's graphically not amazing to look at. It did have some psychological horror to it. I will give it props for that. Because the whole thing is, this is your first time working a night shift. And, the person you're taking over for is like, hey, keep the door locked. Deal with people and, be careful because, you never know when a crazy's going to come over and start harassing you and stuff. And that's kind of what happens. A crazy comes and harasses you. And yeah, it's just some jackass who decides to make your, presumably probably the entire game, a little nightmare fuel because they're jackasses. So it was an interesting little game. Graphically, it didn't look amazing or anything. And there wasn't a lot to it yet because this is very, very, very early, like alpha gameplay at best. So yeah, I think it's something to keep your eyes on though, because if they can make the whole game have that same feeling that I got near the end of it, it wouldn't be too bad. It's probably not going to win any awards or anything, but it's not bad.
How long was the demo that you had?
Maybe 10-ish minutes, if that.
So it's just a quick little slice of the intro, I guess.
Yeah, it might be that entire first night. I don't know. I'm not sure how they're going to expand on it. No. Basically, you come in, they tell you blah, 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 you're taking over all that other stuff I said earlier. Then one person shows up, you fill up that person's room. They take the key and they're like, thanks. And then the next person comes over and you start getting some creepy phone calls. You turn on the power again and then you go home. And some weird shit happens that's just like 2 minutes long and then the game's over. So it's a very short game.
Short demo. Yeah. We can't say it's a short game. It's just a short demo. We don't know how long the full game is going to be. Again, it has a Q1 2025 planned release day. You can add it to your wish list on Steam now. They also have a play test that you can request access to on the Steam page. And if the developer is adding more participants, you could get in that way and give it a go. Should people wish list this? Should people keep their eyes on it? What should people do with this game?
I think keep your eyes on it for now. But I think I'm going to look into this when it's closer to release and see how it is at that point. because near the end it does get a little creepy. You know what's happening because it's obvious this dude's up to no good because everything bad starts happening then, but it still feels kind of anxiety provoking. So I think it's definitely worth keeping your eyes on.
Cool. The options on Steam are add to wish list, follow, or ignore. What should people do?
Follow, at least for now, just so you can get updates and see what's going on with it.
Cool. All right. Next up, Drova, Forsaken Kin, developed by Just 2D, published by Deck 13, released October 15th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and Steam for $24.99. Drova is an action RPG that marries the dark, grim tones of its genre with the mysticism of Celtic mythology. Encounter a society where ancient restless spirits and divided factions battle for dominance, uncover forgotten abilities, and unravel the secrets of a past shrouded in mystery. Pernell, what is going on in Drova, Forsaken Kin?
So Drova kicks off in earnest with your custom character being plopped into the center of a fairly misty field. The view is a top-down action RPG style, and you are lost trying to find your way through the fog. At this point, the game initially begins teaching you little aspects of the game, such as how to walk around with your character and explore the map. In addition, this is one of those games where you have access to an investigation button, where by pressing the button down, you walk slower, but you can see certain things that you normally would miss if you didn't have this mode activated, such as footprints and searchable objects, such as like birds' nests and stuff. So you're wandering through this area. You come across a few people. A lot of crazy crap happens regarding monsters and combat and some dead bodies. And the next thing you know, poof, you turn up in the realm of Drova. This place is home to two factions, all of which, to my understanding, may well be composed of other people who've been whisked away to this country as well, or this magical land as well. And unfortunately, though, this, again, Magic Land is not the typical sunshine and farts places you might think of when you hear magic. This is a very grim and gritty environment composed of two tribes that are kind of at odds with each other, and you are trying to fulfill the quest that you were kind of slapped with when you showed up, being to send an item or take an item to the head of one of these tribes to, further progress your mission. And the game plops you here, and you are exploring to your heart's content. With that said, though, there's things that you can kind of have guided you along if you want, but that is generally the vibe. However, the gameplay for this title consists of a really pleasant action combat system. You're walking around. There is a right thumbstick to allow for like a sort of twin stick aiming mechanism for aiming your weapon opposite direction you're moving in, if you would like to use it for that purpose. But as you move around, you get access to a multitude of weapons, such as daggers, swords, axes, and spears, which can be equipped, and thankfully they cannot break. You have what you have, and that's good. Enemies show up. You can use your right bumper button. Sorry, first you got to actually press a button to unsheath your weapon, which is kind of nice because this is one of those games where if you walk into a town or to a crowd of people and your weapon's out, they might outright say, yeah, you need to put that weapon away. And if you decide not to, you're going to get killed because people don't freaking play in Drova. They ain't messing around. But you can, after you unsheath your weapon, you can go into a typical melee combo with that weapon. In most cases, the game has a sort of time system where if you hit the attack button and then time it again after that, you can go into a sort of light combo to do additional damage to enemies, or you can just go cuckoo bananas. I'm panicking and wailing on the button to just do whatever base attack you're going to do. Most of the time, that was my world because, fuck that, I'm too scared to calm myself down. Depending on the weapon, it may be a two-handed weapon. There might be a scenario where you have a weapon in your offhand or a shield in your offhand, at which point the other bumper, the left bumper, will control that weapon as well. In the case of two-handed weapons, it might be a secondary attack, like for an axe, it'll be a wide swing or a thrust. There are also abilities you can get in this game, and it's going to be hilarious, but if the developer is hearing this and they go, you knucklehead, on the Steam Deck, there is a better way to do this. But for me, what I noticed is the right trigger will initiate your special ability that you have equipped to your character. To generate the points required to use the ability, you have to do land enough physical attacks to increase a gauge to reach the point where the ability becomes available. Then you hit the trigger, you trigger the ability. If you equip other abilities that you earn throughout the course of the game, they go onto a radial dial, and you have to use the left trigger to stop the action and then select the ability that makes it available to use with your ability button. Now, that's annoying in a sense because if I have, say, for example, a dash ability, and I want to use that in accordance with some other abilities, I have to do the thing where you stop the action, equip the dash, use the dash, stop the action, equip the other thing, and essentially I just ended up using abilities that seemed cool to me damn near exclusively in combat because I didn't want to go through all that. I do know that in the menu options, there may be ability to like kind of program some of the Steam Deck buttons, but since I know like console users don't get access to programmable buttons like that, I wonder if there is a way to do that. Not that it makes the game bad by any means, because this game is not bad. But it is a thing that I think would make my enjoyment go up if I hammer it out. And again, I'm mentioning it more so because console users don't get programmable buttons. So the way you improve your character in that sense, however, now is if you walk around, you kill enemies, you will level up like you do in games of this caliber. You get enough experience points, boom, you level up. But the level up doesn't insta-trigger. Instead, you have to generally find a teacher or a trainer, which will be a number of NPCs you stumble across throughout your exploration. When you find these individuals, you'll be able to spend the allocated learning points which you gain from leveling up on a multitude of things. There are basic stats, such as like your strength and your dexterity, that you can spend your stat points on, depending on the person you meet up with. Because also maybe some others as well. And when you spend these points, a total stat called prowess will increase. And that constitutes your aptitude to learning other things. So let's say, for example, I got my prowess to 25 by getting my strength up to like 15 and my dexterity up to 10. That totals 25. Now, if I have enough learning points, I can go to the sword trainer and learn basic sword fighting using 3 learning points because my prowess allows me to be able to learn that skill. And once I learn it, I will get a new attack ability plus a passive ability when I fight with swords, which is kind of cool. And all of the weapons have things like this, in addition to other traits and talents that you can learn. And while there aren't excruciating amount to let yourself become over-encumbered by having to figure out what to use, how to be able to spend my points, I feel like the time it takes you to gain the learning points, to find the individuals and all that stuff, to gain these abilities, still will result in you taking a bit of time to play the game. So just because there aren't a stupid amount of abilities to learn, don't think that means that there's not a lot to do in this game, because there is. And also, that also means that they kind of cut out a lot of the fat on some of the padding abilities that you see in a lot of games where it's like 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, and then suddenly, oh, boom, super awesome thing. I don't care about those stupid 5%. I just bought them to get me to the cool thing I wanted to buy way over there. So less does not necessarily mean less awesome. So just pointing that out. There's crafting in the game too. Sometimes you can do it just by wandering the map, in which case, while you're out and about, if you get the resources required to do it, you can go into your menu, bring up the crafting menu, and create like healing items and things of that nature. But there are other objects such as leather and weaponry and potions that you might sometimes need to actually have the equivalent of a campfire or a workbench to give you the tools, air quote, to create those things in addition to having the recipes and the like. One thing I like about this game also is the fact that, again, there is a quest. There are multiple side quests you can stumble across. There is a day and night cycle, but the game does not hold your hand on the exploration. This is not one of those games where you'll go into your menu and select your quest and then follow the yellow arrow to your destination. No, you're going to find it on your own, and you may well die on your way there because the enemies in this game do not screw around. I very much exploited the ability to kite monsters towards NPCs and let the NPCs save my ass because, yeah. Coming across like a group of marauders in the woods at night, I was like, yep, We got to get out of here. I can't beat these jerks. And they were chasing me. It's like, oh, the dude that sold me the maps right over there. Let me go talk to him. He's like, let's take these jerks out. And I just kept bringing more monsters to him. We just rode it out together. And of course, every time I took the monster out, he's like, stow that weapon. I'm like, yes, sir. Don't worry about me. I'm a good boy.
I'm trying to think. What game? I think Two Worlds was the game where the final boss you could approach at the beginning of the game and lead him to the first town and let the townspeople kill him for you.
That's amazing to me. I'm sure some people will go, that's cheap.
I love stuff
I'm like, no, that's
that.
amazing.
When games allow you to do stuff like that, I love it. And when like NPCs help you and don't just stand there while you get your ass kicked, I like that too.
There's also an extra level of humor to it because I'm not sure what the stakes were in that game, but just the fact that the final overarching villain can be trashed by like the citizens of the first town. It's like saying, you guys could have just wrapped this up from the very beginning. Why didn't you do it? Why'd you send me? And probably the mayor's like, we didn't feel like it, but they came in our house. What were we supposed to do? We're like, there you go. I understand. Fully get it. But like this game invokes a wonderful sense of exploration and communication to the player while they play. I also like how expressive the NPCs are. Like they laugh, they do like guttural belly laughs, they animate while they're talking to you. There's like full-on conversation that take place. And in some cases, not all, there have been situations where like the game has like a sort of interactive social situation. Like, for example, early in the game is a part where you're cutting wood and you're talking to a guy while you're chopping wood. And if you want to just wrap the conversation up quickly, you can do that. You can totally do that. You can just kind of hit the button and be like, okay, well, this is all said and done. Or if you want, you can actually go through a multitude of dialogue while you're chopping wood with him. And every once in a while, the game will stop the interaction to have you press a button just to chop wood. And then you'll keep going with the dialogue. And that might sound boring to some people, but no, I'm going to tell you, I enjoyed the conversation with this guy. I was learning more about this world that my character was dropped into. The text had flavor to it. It wasn't like dry. It was like the difference
writing
between
is good writing, right?
Yeah, good writing is good writing. I was going to say it's the difference between like the original Lunar dialogue and the working designs dialogue. If people like the working design dialogue, is in that sense. So, like, I enjoy talking to NPCs in this game. I enjoy interacting with the world in this game. I enjoy being able to steal from people's tents when they're not looking. Because if they do see you, they will kill you. They are going to mark you up. This game is great. And again, to go back to another thing that I say on this show quite a few times, and it kind of harkens back to the question I asked earlier in the show. This is one of those games where I was like, you want to play this game? And I'm sitting here with Metaphor Ray Fantasio on my table. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I want to play Metaphor. This game doesn't look appealing to me. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it. Let's see what it's all about. I like action RPGs, right? And it turned out to be a great surprise of a game. This is good shit. Like, it's a great game. And I could see it getting overshadowed by the wealth of, like, high-end releases that are going to be dropping as the year comes to a close.
Oh, man.
And that's a travesty.
I don't even want to talk about how many games are coming out right now, but
it's insane. And it's getting worse as I get older. I'm like, how much time do I have to play games? And my brain's on like old man speed rot. I don't fucking know. But I do believe it would be a travesty if people miss out on this game because it scratches an itch that I don't think gets scratched very often for me too. Despite the fact that I feel like in this gaming landscape, this should not be an itch that's rarely scratched. But I feel like a lot of games that would have done it otherwise are just action roguelikes now. But this game is legit.
Well, it clocks in at $24.99. What are your thoughts?
Serendipitous buy. Pick this game up. You will not regret it.
Just increase the text size when you can.
Oh, yeah. I'm playing on the Steam Deck and I squint sometimes.
Oh, man. Like the screenshots, seeing the text in the game, it just scares me. Like my eyes are failing. I can't do this anymore. Thank God they have text options. So
I get it. I have a buddy. She uses a freaking iPad with a magnifying function to read things sometimes because it gets that bad.
Yeah.
Not for this game specifically, but just in general.
All right, well, moving on. Next game is PRIM, developed by Common Colors and Application Systems Heidelberg, published by Application Systems Heidelberg, released October 24th on Steam for $19.99. PRIM is a creepy but cute point-and-click adventure game full of dark humor. When her mother dies, PRIM finds out she's Death's daughter and now has to live with her father. But the Grim Reaper has strict rules, and when PRIM breaks them, things take a fatal turn. Can you breathe life into her misery? Dave, tell us about your time with PRIM.
I will. Everyone can still hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm all good? Okay, good. Well, hello, gentle listener, and welcome back to SML, the Sexual Machine Learning Podcast. Remember, you can't spell lascivious without AI. So I'm here this evening as a guest on this program to review another point-and-click adventure game. Yes, a point-and-click adventure game. A testament to man's desire for dialogue trees, multi-step fetch quests, and puzzles of all kinds. Now, some will tell you that the way to beat these games is through wit and resourcefulness. These people are cowards. The way to beat point-and-click adventure games is to combine random items in your inventory until two of them make something new, and then use that on every interactable element of the screen until something else happens. Yelling at the game to stop making fun of you also helps. It can hear you, and it will concede if you're mad enough. All this is to say that I played PRIM, a very fun point-and-click adventure game in which you play the title character. As Joe mentioned earlier, the daughter of a human woman and death itself. So PRIM's mother dies at the start of the game. Spoilers. So Death takes PRIM back to his domain to raise her as a single dad. She manages to open a portal back to the living world to visit her friend Tristan, who is a total Millhouse, by the way. But in doing so, accidentally kills him and must then find and restore his soul before it is too late. The game draws from mythology quite a bit for its characters, especially once you get to the underworld death domain portion. And it does so with style. Modernizing characters like Thanatos, Kyries, and the Fates in interesting ways, I thought. Visually, PRIM is cartoony and fun. What they say, cute, but more
creepy,
goth.
but cute.
Creepy, but cute. That's actually a pretty good description of it. There's good character design, I thought. The black and white color palette helps it stand out from its contemporaries a bit. It also, it kind of, again, because it's cute, it kind of goes to the more cartoony side, but I think that's actually good for games like this because it means that the graphics won't look completely embarrassing and out of date in like 5 years. Which is a trend that I think a lot of point and click games embrace, and I think it's for the better.
You know what else is good? RaiderBiz just subbed for the 31st month. Thank you, RaiderBiz, for the support. Enjoy the emojis, enjoy the kitty cats, enjoy the pancakes, and
most of all, enjoy the sexual machine learning, because that's what we're here to do at the SML podcast. Back to PRIM. There are strong Terry Pratchett meets Beetlejuice vibes in this game, is the best way I can describe it. The dialogue often goes for a kind of goofy, tongue-in-cheek sort of tone. And Death's very, very awkward attempts to connect with his daughter, or basically anyone, have precedent in some of the Discworld books, which I recommend everyone reading. Everyone should read if they haven't yet. Embarrassing dads are kind of a theme in this game. PRIM's nerdy dud friend Tristan also has an embarrassing dad who is a math magician. I mention this only to say that if any game developers are listening, if indeed anyone is listening to this right now, Simpsons references go a long way with me. In any case.
Pernell can agree with that one.
Damn right. Fucking yeah, et cetera, et cetera.
Etc. Indeed.
Yeah, I would press the button, but I'm trying to. I'm being a professional. In any case.
Fucking yeah.
There it is. Oh, we got the live analog version. We don't need that fucking button when Pernell's actually here. In any case, as much as I complain about puzzles in these games because I'm an idiot, the only ones that gave me serious trouble are the ones with multiple steps, and or the ones that require better short-term memory retention than my ADHD-ravaged brain can provide. It is really hard to make multi-step puzzles that aren't boring or repetitive, and this game does a decent job justifying them. But I still groan whenever a character I'm talking to starts listing multiple conditions for doing me a favor. It just takes the wind out of my sails. Which PRIM doesn't. That's a minor quibble, though, I have to say. The positives here, I believe, easily outweigh the negatives. So, in conclusion,
good job, drug addicts.
Caveat, I don't know if anyone who made this game is on
my God,
drugs.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, never guest of the show, Matt PA, who is like a quarter of the soundboard at this point. So that is my review of PRIM, is that it is good. What was it retailing for?
It clocks in at $19.99. It also has a free demo available on the Steam page if people want to give it a go. What are your thoughts on it at $20?
That's fair, honestly. $20 is good. It's worth $20.
Cool.
And definitely play the demo first. I always recommend that. But I feel like once you dig into the demo a little bit, you're gonna want to spend the $20. Like it's a good $20.
Cool. All right. Well, Dave, that is it for you. We will let you get going. I want to thank you for coming on and
of course
fucking around on the soundboard with us on sexual machine learning.
It's very important that people got to know that. Well, I would like to leave basically the way I came in, which is
talking about Riz and Skibbity Toilet and all that.
That's fair. And in response, I say,
get the fuck out of my house.
Thank
Skibbity
you.
Toilet.
Thank you, never guest of the show, John Bennett. Anyway, I'll let you guys noodle that one for a while.
Listen
Goodbye.
here, fuck snort.
I'm going to need you to fuck off, sir.
There's a lot going on right now, and I'm still stuck on Skibbity Toilet. All right, I'm Jesus Christ.
Talking about Riz and Skibbity Toilet and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Next game to talk about is Windblown, developed by Motion Twin, published by Motion Twin and Kepler Ghost. Released October 24th on Steam Early Access for $24.99. Brave the vortex and dash your way to greatness in this lightning-fast action roguelite for 1 to 3 players from the crafters of Dead Cells. Absorb the powers of fallen warriors, rebuild their weapons, and wipe the floor with those sentinels in search of that perfect run. Wipe the floor in all caps. Andy, tell us about your time with Windblown.
Well, Joe, you've often told me that time is money. I know you message me that at least once per day. So if you're looking for that quick little bite, it is. You know, maybe you don't know, but I know. But if you're looking for that quick little bite of a game review, you know, you can pretty much just imagine Windblown as like a fast-paced 3D version of Dead Cells. But if you want to hear more, I'll tell you more. Do you want to hear more?
I do want to hear more because this one sounds really good.
Okay, cool. Good, because I wrote a bunch more, and I really didn't want that to go to waste, you know. Motion Twin, the developers, have been honing their style of gameplay since Dead Cells released back in 2018. And so if you were to play Windblown and not know the connection, you would correlate the two games either way. As one of my friends stated while playing in co-op, man, this really feels like Dead Cells. And I was like, yeah, because it's made by the same company. So Windblown is very much its own game, though. It features an array of heroes to choose from per run. They're all strictly cosmetic, along with weapons, skills, enemies, and the ability to fight alongside your buddies in some enjoyable, very chaotic 3-player action. The game is in early access, which we all kind of know is a little silly to pay for a partial game, but honestly, playing it now, as I always enjoy doing, helps shape the future of the game, Windblown. And also, if you pick it up now, you also get like a little bonus character to choose from. I think he's like a frog with a mask on, but anyway, strictly cosmetic. So, early access or not, Motion Twin is coming out swinging. The story itself leans towards the destruction of the world. Your character and crew living peacefully on a floating island near a giant vortex. But as always, that calm existence isn't always what it seems, and it's up to you to venture off to figure out what's really going on. Windblown features incredibly artistic, procedurally generated worlds, currently 5 biomes, each with a totally different feel, and they all still kind of maintain that floating island aesthetic to it as well. The deeper in you go in the game, as always, the deeper in, the more challenging it gets. But in this case, the more chaotic things get. Dashing across platforms, through swamps, across pirate ships, over lava, ancient ruins. You fight off robots, spiders, tentacles, rats, giant indescribable creatures. I have no idea what kind of combinations they are. And kind of along with everything in between. Combat in the game is very fast-paced. Enemies all have a sort of like dash attack mechanic to them. And they're very, very well designed. They're designed well enough that learning their movesets is important for survival. There's not really a catch-all to the enemies, which I really enjoyed. And every enemy feels unique to itself and fits in very nicely with the environment, Unique. There, thank you. In order to combat these creatures, the player or players will have their own use of weapons. There's over a dozen currently, each with their own alter attacks, which is kind of a combination of multiple weapons and kind of like a more powerful attack based on whether or not you use one weapon or another weapon first. A neat little feature to the game. You'll also have trinkets such as explosives or goo bombs to slow enemies. You'll also have passives and gifts that you receive as you continue through the runs. The last two play into helping the player or the team, offering more attack or crit damage, bonus health, or things like more gold earned or gears received from enemies. The whole game is a roguelike, so the idea is to play, fail, unlock new items, and play again. Rinse and repeat. So if you are familiar with those, you're going to enjoy this one. If you're not super familiar, just remember that you're going to be playing the same levels over and over and over again. But luckily they are procedurally generated, so it makes it kind of fun. You collect stardust and gears inside the levels, and then outside of the levels, that is, if you don't die, will unlock new items, new weapons, new abilities. So each run gets a little more different than it already is different. Development ideas are already planned in the works for the future of the game as well. New biomes, new enemies, weapons, trinkets, and gifts as well. Motion Twin is also working on the synergy aspects to the game too. There are a lot of items and passives in the game that work better in co-op and not as good for single player, but they are still available in single player modes. So maybe there's something in the future that kind of separates the two. One aspect of the game that I hope they kind of take another look at is this like sudden death. It's like caveat set after a teammate falls in battle. So far, when a teammate dies, it forces the other players to perform almost like a perfect run. And so far, I'm not sure if there's a chance to revive your teammate. Because it's extremely difficult. You have one hit and you're dead once somebody drops. So hopefully they do something that kind of changes that up a little bit. Maybe makes it a little bit more easy, but also, it could just be my difficulty setting so far. Also, there's
punching the hell out of my mic stand tonight, and I don't know why. Sorry about
Quit doing that, man. Quit doing that.
I'm still trying to get used to it being on the left side of my body, so I keep.
Put it on the right, man. So you quit punching.
It doesn't fit.
Oh well, sounds like a personal problem.
I know it does.
But Joe, did I mention the soundtrack too? Man, it's usually I don't like. I like the soundtracks for most games, you know. This one is really good. Like, hits really heavy. It's created by dark synthwave composer Danger. He has also done some stuff. He's got some stuff on Spotify. You can check out some other games that he's done soundtracks for, like Haven or Fury as well too. It's a solid soundtrack for sure. But anyway, kind of close out, I want to touch on a few highlights real quick. Combat in the game is very tight and responsive. Very solid, fast-paced dash attack playstyle. The game is quick, so I really like the like rush into battle. You know, fight some enemies, and then you just keep moving. So the game moves. You know, the game overall has a good progression system. Very similar to Dead Cells, like I said earlier. I mean, if you've played Dead Cells, you're kind of getting the same feel, just in a top-down like 3D setting. You know. Everything kind of unlocks much more as you play too. Art is amazing. Music is amazing. Overall gameplay, loop is amazing. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to playing this one more. I had a couple people while I was waiting for the show, I was kind of checking out on too, that were playing it, and they were asking me if I was going to be off the show soon so that I could play with them. Nice. And I was like, I gotta do a review for it first. So I'm looking forward to new content and everything that releases once the game finally comes out of early access as well, the 1.0 release. So,
well, let's talk about the price. Right now it's $25. They say it will go up after it exits early access, and it may have a slight increase during early access if they feel they've brought enough significant content and value to your experience. At $25, is it worth jumping in now? Should people wish list it, follow it, ignore it? What should people do about Windblown?
I'd pick it up now for sure. I've got almost 10 hours into it, and it's a tough game. 5 biomes, amazing soundtrack, amazing characters, again cosmetic but still fun. Yeah, I'd grab it now. It's also on sale too for $19.99 until November 6th.
Oh, very nice.
Anybody listening between now and then, pick it up. Yeah, this was a definite buy for me. And if you hadn't gotten this for me for the show, I would have picked it up. I've already actually bought a couple of copies for friends too. So
nice.
Yeah, this was a solid buy it.
Awesome. Well, we will let you get going so you could play with your newfound friends in Windblown. Thank you as always for coming on, hanging out with us and chatting and doing the review. Do you have any final thoughts, final words before you head out?
I don't think I can top the last one, so I'll just peacefully disappear into the crowd. But no, thanks again for letting me review games, man, and jumping on the show and talk about some heavy metal, dude. I'll be back. Looking forward to next week too.
All right, have a good one, man.
Later, guys.
Next game to talk about is RetroRealms Arcade Ash vs. Evil Dead, developed by WayForward, published by Boss Team Games, released October 18th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $24.99, available in the Day 1 2-pack with Halloween and some DLC for $49.99. Enter the RetroRealms, a 16-bit pixel art world as iconic horror hero Ash Williams battle deadite hordes across multiple levels of terrifying platformer action filled with enemies from the Star's Ash vs. Evil Dead series. Use your special powers to overcome horrifying challenges and save humanity from the Necronomicon and legions of undead in this groovy throwback to classic arcade action. Grant, you wanted to talk about this one, so we're fitting it in. Tell us about your time with Ash vs. Evil Dead.
It's Halloween, man. It's the Halloween episode.
Halloweeny.
That's right.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is an interesting offering. It's 2 games. You can get each one for $25, or you can buy the combo for $50, and then you get additional unlockable characters by doing that. So they've done Halloween and they've done Evil Dead. So this and the intent, I believe, is to do more. So RetroRealms made this game duo, and when you boot up the game, you start in this 3D arcade. It's this is a side-scrolling pixel art game, but when you start the game, you are in this arcade, and on your left is Evil Dead, on your right is Halloween, and there are other arcade machines with covers over them. So what does that tell you? I'm guessing that we're going to see maybe a Chucky version. I don't know.
I hope so. I would love to see more games come to this, and
I know
see this
I want
become a platform.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it's built. And if you do buy the combo, you can play as Michael Myers in the Evil Dead game, and you can play as Ash in the Halloween game. So they're very much interchangeable in terms of the way they play and the level design. So yeah, this is the company that did the Evil Dead the game from several years ago, which was like what would you call that? Not asynchronous, but like what is it? Where the players versus a boss kind of multiplayer experience, which I didn't play myself, but the treatment to the Evil Dead license was pretty amazing. They had characters from Army of Darkness and the entire Evil Dead franchise, which was cool. But yeah, this is basically a Castlevania game. I was trying to figure out when playing it what it was like, and it is Castlevania 1 we're talking here. So level based, it's your standard kind of jump attack. You can hold one of the buttons to shoot your shotgun. You can vault up ledges. There are secondary weapons like the axe that surprisingly goes in an arc, and the potion, again, like Castlevania. It's very much like that. And you can unlock other combos with the currency that you collect throughout your play session. And it controls like you might expect. I will say there's nothing particularly new here, gameplay wise, except you can change realities. So there's a button you can hit where you squeeze this eyeball, and it basically changes the art and the enemies to this other version of the level that you're playing. It's sort of like hell, like where the Deadites might come from. It's more difficult there, but you have to change realities for platforming puzzles. So to get to certain, you're sort of collecting books of the dead as you play the game, and you do have to change realities to reach some of them. You don't have to, but if you're going for that 3 Yoshi coin per level thing and you want to be a completionist, you're going to have to do that. It plays mostly well, but I will say that it does feel a bit laggy. So there seems to be this inherent input latency in this game that I can't really wrap my head around. It feels almost like, like a bad emulator, or one that like a bad Pi install where it hasn't been set up correctly. So there's too many frames, and everything feels just a bit delayed. That's kind of how it feels to me. You can bounce on top of people if you jump and then attack downward to swing your chainsaw down. You can bounce on people, but the timing's really difficult because of this. Jumping feels a bit delayed. Moving to the other realm takes sort of a second, and then it forces you to wait a second to go back. So there's sort of a general snappiness that I feel like is missing from this game, and that is your main interface with this game. So it definitely bothered me, I'll say. There's about a dozen levels or so. The levels are pretty good length, and there's some variety. 5 to 6 bosses. It's sort of like World 1-1, World 1-2, and then a boss. And it continues through 5 or 6 of those. You can collect tickets in the game that unlock collectibles back in your arcade. So if you go back to the arcade, there's like an Evil Dead room. So I just got the Evil Dead game. I didn't get the Halloween game. So the Halloween room in the arcade is like roped off, like a velvet rope, blocking me from going in there. I assume I can buy the other game too for $25 if I want to obviously play that game. Of course, take Ash into those levels and go and collect Halloween related stuff. But yeah, you're unlocking collectibles, models from the game, basically. It's interesting because I'm a big Evil Dead fan, but I wasn't as big on the TV show. I watched maybe like 5 or 6 episodes and sort of fell off. So I don't really have an attachment to the lore of the show. I know a lot of people really enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite my kind of comedy. But I love Ash. I love chainsaws, the ripped Dickie's tee and the blood on the face, that whole thing. I love it. I love the Deadites, but I didn't know who some of the characters were. It's clearly pulled from the show as opposed to the movies. So keep that in mind. I think, there's not a lot in terms of accessibility or even difficulty. It's basically one difficulty. It's very old school in that way, but that's just sort of how the game is set up. It's not necessarily there to be friendly, but I did finish the game, so it isn't particularly difficult either. I'm not the best gamer. I do love my platformers, but I was able to finish this without any problem. And the two games apparently play pretty similarly. I think like Michael Myers in the Halloween game has some different moves, and if you do get the bundle, you get 2 additional characters. You get Laurie from Halloween, and you get Kelly Maxwell from Ash vs. Evil Dead. Again, I don't know Kelly, but I assume she's from the show. Definitely know Laurie Strode from Halloween, but you get to play as her, and I believe she has a different set of moves as well. So that's cool. So if you want twice the game and twice the characters, 4 times the characters, then getting the bundle is definitely a benefit. I did have fun with it. I just feel like it's a bit steep for the price. I think it was a bit short, and there's not a lot in terms of additional challenges or reasons to replay it. Like if they had more speedrunning stuff or additional weapons as unlocks, or maybe playing through whole levels in the hell version of the world, for difficulty, that would be nice. But yeah, I think overall, I just found that the input lag it was a problem. I did some reading, and apparently I've seen a lot of other people talk about this as well, which is, I think, a little surprising to see for a non-emulated game. Yeah, and a platformer that's supposed to be pretty snappy. But I think that there was one thing that really got in the way of it for me. It was that. So I'm hoping they patch it.
Surprising coming from WayForward as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to know.
Top of it with
agreed,
like
and they really know their platforming stuff. And I don't know exactly. Do you know the details of this? There's RetroRealms, which is sort of a brand of Boss Team. Boss Team made the Evil Dead games. Did Boss Team pull in WayForward to make this game? Like, is this a WayForward joint?
Yes, the 2 games are developed by WayForward.
Got it. Okay.
And presumably any future releases might be WayForward as well. But they developed the 2 individual games here.
Yeah. I mean, it looks awesome. Great pixel art. Sounds great. Great music. Nothing that I think you'll be humming, but it's like really jiving in 80s and synthy, and kind of fits with the aesthetic. So I think everything is on point. I just found that it wasn't quite as snappy as I'd expected it to be as a platformer. Yeah.
Well, let's talk price. It's $25 for each game. The DLC characters, I believe, are $5 each, or you could get a combo of everything for $50. What are your thoughts on the pricing?
I don't think I would buy this again. I think if it was something like $20 a game with 40 for everything, would feel a little better. I know that sounds weird and like picky with price, but I just feel like
$10.
$10 is $10, and I just feel like my experience. Honestly, I would keep an eye on this, watch it, either like list it either for a sale or just to keep an eye on patch notes. If they figure out the input latency thing, it would be a solid recommend. But because that is every single jump and every single shotgun blast, I just have a hard time paying $25 for it. So I would definitely keep an eye on it, especially if you're a fan of the brands. But at the moment, I don't think I would pick it up.
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
And hopefully we see more games come to it. I would love to see that little in-game arcade expanded with a few more titles.
Agreed. I want a Freddy. I mean, I would love a Freddy game.
That'd be awesome.
That's kind of where I am. I mean, there's probably, of course, there's tons of the ancient. I mean, you could do Leatherface. You could do, I don't know, you could do Chucky. You could do the Vampire Dentist. He's not here to hear it. I'm just for Dave. You could do Neil Breen. I mean, we could do so much. The arcade's pretty big, right? So,
Vampire Dentist DLC coming in 2025.
Yeah, I'll say if they drop a Freddy game, hoping that the input lag is figured out, I will pick that up for sure. So, cool. Yeah.
All right, well, moving on. Next game is Kristala, developed and published by Astral Clocktower Studios. Released June 6th on Steam Early Access for $29.99. Chapter 2 of the story just released October 22nd. Kristala is a dark fantasy ARPG featuring Sekiro-inspired combat, acrobatic parkour, and exploration to uncover a detailed story. Embark on a journey to join the ranks of Alir's most elite warriors as you battle to master the ancient magic of the Sacred Six and uncover the source of a dark curse. Aki, tell us about your time with Kristala.
Okay, this is still in fairly early access. I figured that's something to point out right at the beginning. It only has the first chapter fully finished. I don't think the second one is 100% finished, and I think there's going to be 5 or 6 chapters. So there's that to keep a note of. I only played part of chapter 1 because the game broke on me, sadly.
Oh, no. So
yeah, it's a known bug, and they are working on it already. So it's just going to take time. And this is basically a Souls-like. You create your own little cat person to play around with. Has a bunch of different options for different types of cats you have. There's a magic system that every class has access to, which was interesting. And there's 3 of those, I believe, and each one of them gives you different spells and a different eye color for your cat. So that was interesting. Yeah, I went with the one that made things purple because purple. Didn't even care what it did. Still don't care what it does. On top of that, you get to pick multiple classes. As I already said, there's a warrior, there's also a knight, an assassin, a few others that I don't remember because I chose the warrior because they carried a big fuck-off size sword, and therefore that wins. That's kind of how I play these games, which is why I'm so bad at them, actually. And yeah, you are set off immediately. You are part of a proving. I don't fully understand what that is. I assume it's some sort of thing to determine whether someone's an adult or something, maybe? I don't know. They don't fully explain it. But you're not supposed to go it alone. There is a ranger who's supposed to come with you, but they haven't been found yet. So, well, I guess it's time for you to skedaddle and go find them so you can go on your little adventure. And along the way, you find a lot of really angry rat people who really want you dead. I wonder why. I don't think it's because you're a cat at all. Probably not. No, I doubt it. No, you're fine. And yeah, you immediately get the ability to sneak up behind people and kill them. Or at least do a lot of damage if they're much stronger than you. I only found a handful of enemies that survived one of those attacks, but they're really fun. Because you come up behind them, no matter what your class is, you put your weapon away, you reach up and you just tear out their throat. Oh, cool. I love that. And you get to climb up on top of buildings. Sadly, you can't just climb the wall like a cat does. You actually have to jump from box to box to get up on them. But you're able to, do really heavy, strong attacks by jumping down on people, and you can completely bypass enemies and sneak around by using them as well. There's a balancing system where, sometimes buildings have wires across them and you can travel across those, which a lot of games don't have because that's apparently not easy to do. And this game does, and I fully approve of that because it helps you get around without fighting if you really don't want to get that delicious experience points. Because some people are like that for some reason. You do find items. I don't know what any of them do because I didn't really care to use a single one of them, but that's kind of how I am when I play video games. I don't use consumables, period, in anything, really.
You should. They help.
Yeah, I really should, and they probably help. No thanks.
Yeah, health potions are good.
Yeah, no. Unless it's something that automatically refills, I refuse to use it. Which is one of the reasons why I'm so bad at Soulsborne games, because I refuse to use anything but whatever the equivalency of the Exus flask is.
Use your fucking items.
No, motherfucker. I did manage to get through the first boss and into the first town before the bug that I had in my game caused me to be basically unable to do much of anything. Right now, they have given out for free access to a couple helmets that are Halloween based, and those for some people causes issues where they'll be considered unequipped even though you had them equipped. They won't be anymore, but the weight of them is still counted towards you. So every time you re-equip it, then if you keep hitting the bug where it unequips them, you just keep adding weight to your character.
Oh man. Huh.
Yeah. So my character that I specifically kept speccing to be able to hold more and more weight, just putting on just my sword and being otherwise without armor or anything puts me like over 10 pounds over my carry weight. By the time I got to the first village, so I kind of had to stop there. Yeah, and it's just those two helmets that are doing it. They don't understand why, because it doesn't seem to affect everybody. It's just random people. So it's great. They're really cool the helmets, though, because one of them basically turns your character into the head of your character into a skeletal cat face that's on fire, which is the one I used, because holy shit, that looks so cool. And the other one is a pumpkin head that is also, I believe, partially on fire. It doesn't look as cool as a skeletal cat head. I mean, come on now, that's bitchin'.
Speaking of visuals, I have a question about the visuals in the game. A lot of the screenshots and clips I see, it looks very grainy and busy. Is that like that in the full game, or does it just not translate well to screenshot?
It can be what it looks like. There is a grain effect to the game, but you can turn that off, and I always turn that stuff off because I have a brain. I honestly do not understand why any of that stuff even exists. It doesn't look good. It makes it hard to see anything, and it kind of sucks.
Filters are always bad in these games.
Yeah. And the worst part is film grain isn't the only filter on this. There are like 4 or 5 filters that all make it harder to see, and they're all set to on from the very beginning, which is...
Yay.
Yeah, I turned all of them off, and it looks pretty decent. It's, I turned off a lot of ones that also make it look really kind of cool, too, because I turn off things like bloom and stuff like that, because it makes it hard for me to see things.
No.
But, so it does... It's not amazing graphically looking, but it's not bad. It's pretty decent. Combat is a mix between Souls-like and hack and slash. So you'll get a few enemies sometimes to fight at once, and you really want to try and kite them to where you're only fighting one at a time, because it is kind of Souls-like-y. You do have a block as well as a dodge. I found it was easier just not to have to use either of those by killing the enemy as fast as possible. Because dodging didn't feel like it always went the way I wanted it to. It didn't feel as responsive as it should be. And for anyone who's like, oh, what would you know? I play most Soulsborne games. So when I say it, dodge doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Blocking I didn't really bother with, just because that's very not how I'm used to playing games. It's dodge or kill. It's not dodge, block, or kill. Thankfully there is no fall damage in this game, which is really fun, especially if you get some other bugs that can appear that I also reached, where I just floated around and then I could do a drop down assassination kill on people, and then it'd pop me right back up into the air, and it was great. It was definitely a bug, but sometimes bugs are fun.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Let's talk about price on this one. It's in early access right now for $30. Your thoughts? Is this something people should keep an eye on? Wish list? Pick up now? What are your thoughts on Kristala?
I want to say pick it up now, but that is for $30. That's really hard to recommend with how little is in the game and how many bugs are still currently in it because it is still in fairly early access.
Yeah.
Right now on Steam, it's 31% off, which makes it like a little under $21. That is a lot more.
It's $20.69.
Yeah, that's a lot more reasonable to me for the game. So I would recommend getting it before that promotion ends, which it ends on November 5th. I think that is a good price for this game. 30 is pushing it though to me. I think if it gets to $30 by the time it comes out, maybe hold off for a sale. I think it is a decent game if you like Soulsborne though. So totally worth buying. Just maybe not at 30, especially not right now.
Yeah. Well, you got a week to pick it up at 20, so there you go.
Do it!
All right, next game, ASTLIBRA Gaiden, The Cave of Phantom Mist, developed by Keizo, published by WhisperGames, released October 17th on the Switch for $9.99. A side story for ASTLIBRA starring a new female protagonist in a 20-plus hour adventure. Take control of the baker's reclusive daughter to challenge randomly generated dungeons in a roguelike-style gameplay loop. Strengthen your character with various methods of growth. Use all new magic attacks to beat up your enemies and relieve your stress. Chris, tell us about ASTLIBRA Gaiden, The Cave of Phantom Mist.
Okay, so I, full disclosure, have reviewed the Steam version of this game before when it was actually kind of, I guess it was released as like DLC, like a DLC attachment to the original ASTLIBRA revision, which is my top game of 2023, by the way. That got my game of the year, at least for the games I reviewed. So yeah, I have talked about this before, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about it again because now it's out on Switch as a fully a la carte download. So this does not require owning the original ASTLIBRA revision. It is its own thing. However, it does tie to the game very well. I mean, it's a Gaiden, so like it's a side story. Literally, it's a story that occurs on the side as the main story of the main game is kind of proceeding. And since it's a game that involves like kind of alternate realities and time travel and things like that, it was really no task at all for them to like get this to fit into the story. So what this is this follows a mysterious, never really seen, but kind of a kind of like in the shadows kind of character that you learn about in ASTLIBRA revision. She is the baker's daughter. You find out just through kind of hints and allegations and etc. that she's like this powerful warrior that's kind of off doing her own thing, while your character, who are part of a demon slaying guild, are doing your thing. She's just a fellow demon slayer, but is not part of your guild and is not part of your story. You're literally like at one point on the other side of an impenetrable wall while she's like fighting off demons, and you just kind of have to leave it to her while you go and do another time travel shenanigan. So like that's kind of like the long and short of, without too many spoilers, of course. That's the long and short of like her role in the original game. Like I said, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, this is going to come around to be like some like big mystery that they're going to solve, because ASTLIBRA revision is all about the mystery. Lots and lots of like plot twists and things like that. But turns out she doesn't really ever show up, and this is why, is because she is in her own adventure that you now get to play as. So the setting of it is basically that the guild that you start or join rather in ASTLIBRA Revision is now world famous. You've destroyed many demons, and the world is seen to be at peace. In the of course, there's still a looming threat that about if you played the original game, but at the moment you're kind of in the eye of the storm. That is to say, the guild is now just doing a lot of tasks, is world renowned, and is kind of keeping the streets clean, as it were. And then they just go missing suddenly. They're just completely gone, not a trace of them. And then monsters start kind of sneaking into the city. So, as the baker's daughter, armed only with a broom and a sense of justice, you are kind of thrust into the action, and you have to defeat some low-level enemies. And then you run across a talking dog. This talking dog features heavily in ASTLIBRA Revision, so if you beat that game over its 90-hour or so campaign, or full story, at least it was 90 hours for me, it's probably more 50 hours for most people. You know exactly who this talking dog is. There's no mystery there. But of course, your nameless character. By the way, the main character of ASTLIBRA Revision and the main character of ASTLIBRA Gaiden, neither of them have names canonically. So that's something to know, is that they're no name people, because they're just your silent avatar, essentially, but you don't even get to name them. That's the thing here. So that's why it's a little tough to to talk about them like this. But yeah, your character runs across the dog, and the dog's name is Polin, Polin. And he serves as your mouthpiece, essentially. He's a talking dog. You're a silent protagonist, so he's kind of got one up on you in that sense. Just like the crow Karen, Karon, is the sort of spokesperson for the hero of ASTLIBRA Revision. So you end up traveling with this talking dog down a hole that's in a cave. This hole in a cave will, the way they explain it away in the game is that this cave has been reality warped by the memories of there's a magical stirring inside, and it's been kind of warped and shaped by the memories of the hero of ASTLIBRA Revision, whom you are looking for. So that conveniently means that the backgrounds, enemies, and treasures in this place are both ever changing and also all reused assets from the original game. Very, very clever. So yeah, you basically drop down the hole and go down 10 levels for every kind of part of the original game. So like I said, the enemies and settings are reused. Some of the soundtrack is reused, but some of it's original to this game. But yeah, it's very much in the style of ASTLIBRA Revision. However, the actual dungeons and the settings and places that you go and such are condensed down into this one very, very deep hole, essentially, that where there's warped reality. You do get to face off against new large in charge original bosses every 10 floors. Like I said, basically what it is that you get dropped down into the hole. You fight around until you find a switch, and the switch will open more hole, and then you drop down that hole. They're all connected by doors that are just kind of randomly placed again. And sometimes this is a little bit more gamified than the original. So you sometimes will just run into a room that's hey, it's a bonus treasure room, or hey, it's a super hard enemy room, or just a regular kind of tougher than the rest enemy room. So it basically locks you into a mini boss fight. And sometimes it's shooting balloons with arrows. It's just all kinds of random stuff happens. And there's little floaty shops that also feature from the original game that you can stop by and purchase stuff and things. And like the original game, it has a equipment thing that always stays fresh, because every time you get a new piece of equipment, you can learn an equipable ability from that. Think like Final Fantasy IX. You can learn like a new ability every time you equip a weapon and fight, and it gains its own experience points. And then, you swap it out for something else, learn those, and then, eventually just kind of customize your character's experience the way you would in ASTLIBRA Revision. However, this one has a few extra things. One of them is... oh, by the way, yeah, never mind. I'll go with the new stuff, and then we'll get back to the old stuff. So the new things are that your character can now do two different things. One of them important, the other not. Is that you have styles that you can now change. So, like I said, ASTLIBRA Revision has like 1,001 ways to like make your character more badass. Like applying magic stones to your stats to raise them. On top of the actual raising of stats that they get anyway. And that kind of goes double for this game because, every time you drop down the hole, you start at level 1 because it's roguelite, or roguelike. We'll talk about that in a second. But you always start at level 1. So having your stats already be boosted to with the magic stones is very important, because that allows you to have, a decent loadout for the lower dungeons, and doesn't allow you to, just settle on your haunches, having like your stats already boosted in a way by, having both the level and the stones. Anyway, so this one has styles now as well as stones. The styles are where your character gets bonus stats and a bonus like kind of passive ability based on an equipable sort of, well, like I said, a style. So the styles are like Explorer style, which will give you, like some extra HP, some extra attack durability and stuff, and will increase your equipment proficiency gains. So, when you're equipping new weapons, you learn the skills faster. Or Swordswoman, which just halves the sword weight, which means that you can swing a sword faster, nothing else. That is to say, no bonuses for any other weapons. But then you get a boost in, like I said, HP attack and, stuff like that. You get like Guardians and Thief and stuff. And basically, yeah, you unlock these through a currency that you pick up in the dungeon, and then you just equip them, and they also have levels of their own, as well as, for additional stat gains, which lead to permanent stat gains, so you actually are incentivized to like level them all up. Again, it's just adding yet another layer to this game's like super deep, making your character as badass as possible thing. The other deal is that if you got some spare gold, and you will once you get far enough along in this dungeon, you can spend it on additional clothes. So you can actually change the clothes of this lady to both, she's got her own unique styles. But you can also, But you can also dress her up as any one of the other female and some of the male characters from ASTLIBRA Revision. So you can kind of change her look to be like one of the other many female characters from Revision, or just kind of keep her as herself and just make her look more badass or more sexy, because both ASTLIBRA games are kind of low key horny at all times.
Aki.
Well, we've already talked about this in the other two reviews, but yeah. So yeah, like you've got, and by the way, the sexier the clothes, the more prohibitively expensive. So don't think you're gonna get away with this in the first 10 hours. So anyways, but like I said, it's there. Yeah, like I said, this is an extremely fun game that will remind you a lot of ASTLIBRA Revision. It basically brings in all of the fun gameplay that game provided. It just does away with the long story segments, because this story is a lot zippier. And it also does away with, the kind of exploration Metroidvania style of the original, because it's like there's not a lot of get this item and now you can go back to this previous dungeon and do more things. It's more like, let's just move on with it. For one thing, you don't have to craft keys to open chests that enemies drop. That's great. because the original had that aspect where if an enemy dropped like a chest with a fancy, like possibly a game-changing weapon in it, like, if they're one of the ultra rare chests, if you don't have the key to open that chest in that moment, that chest is gone. Because you would have to use your purchasable or droppable like alchemy ingredients to make a key to open chests, and you always just have to make sure you have them on hand because you don't want to get caught with your pants down like that. Well, this lady never takes her pants off because you don't have to use keys at all. They're just, any chest that is dropped by an enemy is openable, and that's really nice. If the other aspect kind of frustrated you about the other game, and it did, because I was like, man, I don't need to why do I have to make like 50 keys every time I go into this dungeon? It's like, this is kind of a tedious part of this, but it's so that they can gotcha on, not having the supplies. This game does have the same alchemy as the other game, though. It's just a little bit truncated. Same thing. It also has the Libra system, which is putting items that you collected on a scale for extra stat gains. I kid you not. That was actually that scale is like the linchpin of like the whole story of the last game, and it's just like yet another stat growing thing. This game has, like I said, the same equipment, the same magic. So you get magic where you can use button combinations to cast magic if you've stressed yourself out enough, which is why that's talking about relieving your stress. As you attack enemies, a gauge goes up. That is your stress level. And when you get stressed enough, you can cast like spells. And the spells themselves have levels and et cetera, et cetera. They're in different elements, but like it's very much like a spell is like the cherry on top that you would put on like a wicked combo of sword or broom swings. And the other thing about this is that even though it does feature the same weapon types and weapon growth and abilities of ASTLIBRA Revision, it actually has all new weapons for your nameless character here that do include humorous weapon types, because like I said, ASTLIBRA always has a little bit of a joke aspect to it. So like in this one, you can collect a punching glove, of course you start with a broom, you can pick up a frying pan, hello Earthbound reference. You can also, I kid you not, pick up a key blade, which like I said, everything that is, the more ridiculous something is in ASTLIBRA, in the ASTLIBRA world, the more there's a story behind it, because the game abounds in flavor text, and it explains that the Keyblade is a locksmith's signboard that's just sharp enough to actually be used as a sword. So, yeah, it's but yeah, anyways, it's really, really good. Like I said, but the last thing I will say is that the game does give you 4 levels of difficulty to choose from. Only one of them is a lock. That is, if you put it on impossible difficulty, which is the very highest difficulty, you cannot lower that difficulty later. That is going to lock you into a true roguelike experience where you will be killed immediately and you'll lose everything every time you die. But if you, and then it ranges from that down to the light level difficulty, which allows you to keep everything that you pick up in the dungeon. And if you die, it simply sends you to the front of the dungeon and you just fight your way back down again with everything you've gained so far. So like no penalty at all. And plus you get items to like leave the dungeon anytime that you want, as long as there's not an enemy right now attacking you. And lots of it, the difficulty swoop of this is very, very like customizable as far as that goes. So you can have a complete nightmare experience with this game if you so want it. Or you can have a nice easy breezy, not easy, but like a breezier, more action-packed time and not have to pay the price. So
easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all I thought when that was said too. Damn it.
Damn right.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
The game clocks in at $10 on the Switch. It's actually on sale until the 7th for $8.49. What should people do about this?
Okay, so here's the thing. Definitely buy it. If you own ASTLIBRA Revision, this is a perfect companion. It is, like I said, it opens the book that was closed in ASTLIBRA Revision's meaty story. I mean meaty, like ASTLIBRA Revision goes places. But this is one place that it does not go. So for people who are really, really, really into ASTLIBRA Revision, this is absolutely perfect and a must-have. And I am really glad that they made it available a la carte, because this is actually a pretty good intro to ASTLIBRA Revision if you haven't played it yet, because it does, like I said, reuse enemies, assets, and things like that, but it does not really, at least as far as I've gotten so far, it doesn't really let you into the main story so much. It kind of more hints at, like, it shows you the characters, it kind of hints at what's going on, but it doesn't seem to be interested in revealing, the big plot twists and things like that, because that has not happened to me so far. So this might be a good way to kind of get yourself into it without, committing to the full game, because this game is pretty short. But I have not beaten it, so I may be wrong about that, but I'm going to give this a buy it either way. But I will say, if you go with ASTLIBRA Revision first and then play the Gaiden game, you're not going to kick yourself, because it's very, very good. If you play Gaiden first, then that's also fine, at least for the most part, because like I said, it's a revisiting dungeon instead of going to the same places that the other one does. And it'll tell you, like, again, this game does not spoil who the talking dog is when, ASTLIBRA Revision does fully explain that. But ASTLIBRA Revision doesn't tell you who the girl is, really. And then, this game reveals that. So, yeah, it's a really good companion piece to the main game, but I think it can also just work on its own. Again, the action is all there, so yeah, it's an excellent deal just for that really hardcore, Metroidvania style action. So yeah, it's a buy it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next game, Hidden Paws Mystery, developed by Manic, Hyena, published by Silesia Games, released October 30th on Xbox One, Series X and S, and Windows Store for $3.99. You're an adventurer, the last of the Seeker of Cats, and you are tasked with an important job. Scattered on those islands are little cats. Some of them are cold and hungry, and yet still hoping someone will find them. Others don't really care about you or your quest, but meow insistently anyway, so you should probably stop for a moment or two and pet them. Bri, tell us about Hidden Paws Mystery.
This is a 3D hidden cat game.
3D?
There are islands. Yes, it's, instead of it just being a static image where you go find hidden cats, this involves movement. There are islands with cats and yarn balls for us to find. Loading up the game just throws you right into the first island with no instruction, but thankfully you do get a pop-up that shows you that you can use left trigger and right stick in tandem to rotate. There's a zoom on the bumpers, and then you can just move around with the right stick. The left stick gives you a cursor that looks like a little paw, so you can select all the cats that you find lazing about. The islands are cute and full of fantasy. The first one is like a cemetery. There are some islands with big mushrooms and docks with boats. There's a pumpkin-filled island. There was one with statues of cats. And you'll find the cats sitting or sleeping. Sometimes they're hidden in and under things. You have to really open or break all the things. There's like chests and crates, pots and baskets. You have to open doors or window shutters. You even have to smash some pumpkins to help you find cats that you're looking for. And there are a few other things to look out for, like the yarn and some special achievements for finding a penguin and a bunny. But to help you find the cats, you can listen for the meows. To help find the yarn, you can press the Y button, and some lights will show you the area to look in. The yarn and cats are really designed to blend in and match colors with the environment. So on a level with lots of green or pink, you'll find yarn balls to match. And on the snowy island with all the black cat statues, there were almost exclusively just black and white cats. So, but yeah, you have to really move the camera around to find all of these things in the 3D environment. And that takes some doing. The music was some good fantasy fare. Some of the songs I recognize from other indie games, so likely some license-free stuff. But they chose really well to match the environments. Had multiple songs on a loop, so it wasn't repetitive. I know no one is surprised that I played a cute hidden cat game today.
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, totally shocked. Yeah, this game was relaxing and a delight to play. Not too long a game with around 20 islands, with anything from 5 to 20 items per island, whether it was cats or yarn balls. But it wasn't too quick either. You really have to rotate and zoom to find all those things, and it was a good balance. The art was cute. I really enjoyed all the different islands, and just the whole package was really cool.
Cool. Well, let's talk price. It's Silesia, so it's going to be another expensive one. It's $3.99, and it's on sale for the next 2 weeks for $3.19.
Yeah, I mean, this is an easy buy it. If you like hidden cats, like I said, it's a little more challenging than just finding the things on a static image, because you do have to move everything around and zoom in and zoom out and kind of find the ways to operate the camera, which takes a little doing at first. But yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I think I spent like around 5 hours with it, and it was good fun.
Nice. Now, here's a question. We've now played 3 different Hidden Cats games from Silesia, from different developers. What are your thoughts on the 3 different ones?
Geez. I mean, I'm a fan of all of them for different reasons. I don't know what
any of them
else to
stand
say.
out more than others? Do you prefer the 2D more than the 3D, the 3D more than 2D?
I don't know. I would, it's hard to say. Like, one of my first Hidden Cat games that came over, I had actually played on Steam before, which is Castle Full of Cats. That's still just one of my favorites, period. That's one of the Dev Cats ones. So yeah, and I really love the Hidden Cats in different cities series in Spooky Town. They're all really good. But it was nice and refreshing to have something like 3D and different movement to find. So yeah.
Cool. Well, hopefully we see more in the future.
Indeed.
Cool. Next game, Wilmot Works It Out, developed by Hollow Ponds and Richard Hogg, published by Finji, released October 23rd on PC for $14.99. Wilmot Works It Out is a puzzle building game about completing beautiful images and using them to decorate the walls of your house. Pernell, what is Wilmot Works It Out?
Well, the next in the Wilmot saga is upon us, and let me tell you, this thing is I'm kidding. It's fun though. So I do love Wilmot's Warehouse, the game that came before this. It was one of my favorite games for a long time. I guess technically it still is. It hit a note that I wasn't really getting from my video games. And funny enough, while I won't go so far as to say that this game is doing something that no other game has done before, I still feel like it does it in the Wilmot way that makes me love it more. This game is pretty simple. Wilmot lives in a house. Wilmot's house has rooms in it, and Wilmot's rooms have walls that are bare, and that is just wrong. No one wants a house with no pictures on the walls, so what does Wilmot do? Well, he maintains his love of puzzles and decides that he wants to get a subscription to a puzzle subscription service. So, at intervals, because sure as heck isn't days, his postal woman by the name of Sam will knock on Wilmot's door. And when Wilmot opens the door, Sam will have a light conversation with her and then leave him a package from the puzzle subscription service. However, once Wilmot walks into his house and decides to open the package by selecting a place on the floor and hitting the X button, lo and behold, you come to discover that this puzzle subscription service is absolutely horrendous with packaging its puzzles. Tongue twister. Good God. They are terrible at packaging their puzzles, resulting in puzzle pieces that are for multiple puzzles, some of which aren't all inside the package. So, being a puzzle lover as you are, you go towards trying to resolve this by taking the puzzle pieces that are in the box and organizing and sorting them in your hallway floor, trying to figure out the best way to create and complete these puzzles. You can collect individual pieces, you can take groups of pieces, move them around, and snap them together. When a piece is attached to a piece that matches, or is actually a correct match, a satisfying light and audio cue will indicate that you pulled it off. These pieces interlock, and it is correct. You will proceed to do this until you complete a picture. Once the picture is completed, you'll pick it up, first the game will give you an indication that you finished a picture, and it'll tell you the name of the picture. Then you will pick it up, move it towards the wall, and find a place for it on the wall to hang the picture up. And eventually, at a certain point in time, usually after you've finished a picture, sometimes it might take 2 or whatever, you'll get a knock on the door, and it will be Sam again with more pictures.
Yay!
Pieces. And you will open the box, and you will finish to build puzzles, and you'll continue to do so until eventually you'll complete what's considered a season in this game of you completing a group of puzzles. You will then be tasked with choosing a room to decorate. Bedroom, bathroom, living room, etc., etc. And then you can then take all the pictures that you completed in the hallway, which is the building environment, and move them to that room, decorate the room, choose wallpaper and ornaments to lay out around the room, just kind of create a nice feng shui. And there's little animations of Wilmot, like, for example, I had one room where I put a treadmill, and it had Wilmot, a little cube character, by the way, bouncing on the treadmill. It was kind of adorable. And then you will proceed to do more puzzles, another set of puzzles. And that might sound boring. You'd be wrong to think so, at least in the general sense. Like, everyone doesn't like everything, but I'm just saying, don't knock it till you try it. Because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning one night when I first booted this thing up, tested out, and I didn't go to bed till 4:30. And I had to, and I work at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I was engaged. One of the interesting things about this game, too, that I find hilarious is this is a chill game. But that doesn't mean they can't mess with you, because the pieces, they do things where they kind of trick you by having a lot of puzzles have similar color schemas and even certain shapes and imagery. So you might get a box that contains a bunch of puzzle pieces, a lot of blue pieces, a lot of oval circular shapes that are kind of like snapped, like, portions of those shapes anyway on the pictures. So you might think, okay, well, these are all one picture, but it's actually 3 pictures. And you start to try to come up with a flow to figure, okay, what are the pieces that clearly look like they're associated with each other? Let's try to group those out. And at one point in a puzzle, I got stuck for like 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? I can't finish any more pictures. Sam isn't knocking on my door. What am I doing wrong? And it turned out 2 pieces of a puzzle just didn't line up. They looked like they did, but they actually were in the wrong places. So I'm sitting here thinking I got the puzzle correct. Turns out, no, I didn't. I just thought I did. So I fixed those. Suddenly I get a knock on the door, and bam. Turns out that was the mistake. And I felt stupid. Not in a bad way, but just I had literally just told myself, this game is a cakewalk. I'll never get stumped because there's constant cues on me when I get things right. And then, bam, I'm stuck for 10 minutes. So this game has a way of messing with you, despite the fact that technically you can't lose. You just play it to your heart's content, leisurely, and complete pictures. It's cool. And I think the game is wonderful. Now, the one thing about this is that, unlike Wilmot's Warehouse, where there was definitely a mechanic where you could screw up. Beeping. That was my microwave. I am sorry. I'm making a potato.
I didn't know what that was.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like, I didn't think they could pick that up on here. But yeah, so Wilmot's Warehouse, there was like a mechanic where you're like trying to organize your warehouse, and they mess with you by blinding you with pieces and stuff, therefore giving it more of that gamey component with a potential for failure. There is no failure in this game. It is all about the cozy, and I think they do a fantastic job with it. I can't remember who they get to do the composition for the music, but give that guy a raise and more games, because my God, it feels good listening to that soundtrack play out as you're doing this. It's the perfect amount of leisure and relaxation with a touch of cool to just make you kind of feel like, yeah, I'm on the cutting edge of audio technology right here, baby. There's your buzz again one more time. Should be the last time I'm going to open the damn door.
It looks like the soundtrack was Eli Rainsbury, who did the soundtrack for Wilmot's Warehouse and Flock.
Yes, that guy is a gem at the composition. I love all of his music. And Wilmot's Warehouse had a similar perk to it, where as I'm playing that game, I'm like, oh, this feels great. Running around, boop, 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 boop. And it almost feels like it's modular sometimes, too. It's very good stuff. Highly recommend it. And highly recommend this game while I'm at it, because I think this game is fantastic. It does what it sets out to do. If you are in the mood for you should do that thing first.
$15. Give us your verdict on Wilmot Works It Out.
If you're in the mood to have a little relaxation time with Wilmot in his soon to be very well decorated home, you can't really go wrong with this. There's plenty of content, including a marathon mode where you complete the game as it is. And hopefully, I would like to believe that there may be more puzzles on the horizon, maybe even a little bit of a added mode. Who knows? But I think it's worth it even as it currently stands. Definitely a buy.
Cool. All right, we got one final game on this episode. That is Super XYX, developed by Team Grybanser Fox and eastasiasoft, published by eastasiasoft. Released October 23rd, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $9.99. Super XYX is a vertically scrolling shmup presented in eye-scorchingly fluid pixel art animation, whatever that means. Choose from 6 unique pilots and their signature ships, each with unique shots and bombs, and blast off to face the Black Serpent's forces head-on. Master 6 stages with screen-filling bosses, customize the experience with various difficulty settings, and unlock alternate game modes as you progress. And with the uniques in this write-up, we have reached 350 uses of the word unique since October 2022.
Amazing.
Wow, what a unique metric to track.
I hate that.
2 years, 350. And that's not even all
350.
Chris, tell us about Super XYX.
Good pastors looking down on us from heaven. Just big face in the clouds, just smiling. Anyways, hang on. My chair's stuck on something. Anyway, okay. So, Super XYX. This is a really good shmup that is kind of in the vein of like the kind of toe plan shooters. Like very much will remind you of like some of the badass games on Genesis, like Truxton, or even though it's vertically scrolling, may remind you a little bit of Thunder Force. But yeah, this is a sorry, I'm distracted. It said that you can choose from like, I think it was 8 different ships.
6 unique pilots and their signature ships.
Okay.
With unique shots and bombs.
Right. Yeah, I thought that too, but it turns out like on the onset you can only choose from 2. One of them, because the others have to be unlocked as far as I know. So I'm not sure. I like had to double check. I was like, did I just like mess this up? Because it really seems like there's only 2 people when you're here. But yeah, unless I'm proven wrong, the 2 characters that you get to choose from the onset are Green Knight, a spread fire ship, and Hell Tiger, which is a straightforward shot. As the game mentions, then it will scorch your eyes with fluids. I mean, it is really, really, really fast. Your ships like fully zip around this stage, and like the frame rate does not slow down. It basically is like just like this super crazy like 16-bit game, that of course is made for modern equipment, so is therefore much more unstoppable. However, there is a slow down button for you, so if you do need to slow down to dodge bullets more effectively, it does definitely have that. It has a lot of things actually. interestingly, this is one of the first games that I've ever like kind of reviewed where if you set the as the options are like if you leave the options alone or set them back to default, no, actually it didn't do it. So when I started this game, it actually had the default on challenging, like on hard mode by default, and then I had to shift it to standard, which is really interesting. But yeah, you can add lives and credits. It has 2 difficulty levels. I'm sure it has more that's unlockable. Maybe, I don't know. But you do get a whole lot of options to kind of make the game more customized to your tastes, and of course it has customizable controls as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it even lets you do like stick dead zone and stuff like that. This is very definitely like a shmup that was made by people who are absolutely very, very knowledgeable about the genre. You can always tell when one of these is like really well put together. But anyways, yeah, you once you pick your ship, you basically fly through 6 stages. I don't know, I think it's 6 stages. Well, some of them are hidden behind like certain victory conditions. There's a lot of emphasis put on trying to do no death runs in the game. There's also like score power-ups to pick up. And then you can unlock hidden stages and characters by doing things like this, and but of course just playing through the game will also net you like some good rewards. However, there are no rich kid strats in this game. You can put the continues at a maximum of 3 in order to get through the game stages, which I feel is reasonable. But yeah, you're not going to just crank it right to the end or anything like that on this one. So, be forewarned, I suppose. The game does, like I said, it moves fast, so it can be pretty difficult. It is kind of in the bullet hell genre, I would say, but I didn't come across anything that's like just fully like a cave shooter kind of deal. Even though, like I said, the game's aesthetic may remind you for sure of like something that Cave would have put out. Like I said, it does seem to be more attuned to like the 16-bit kind of era as far as that goes. It does. It's a vertical shooter that does take up a third of the screen. The reason for that is, of course, that it does have Tate modes, so you can turn your Switch or your TV fully on the side to enjoy like the full game screen. It's very, very cool to play it like that if you have the ability to. I know, they got the flip grip and stuff for the Switch, and of course, if you have a if your TV's mounted, if you have something like that, I highly recommend playing it that way. I actually did earlier today, and it was really, really, really cool. But yeah, like it's basically really fun. Like I said, the frame rate never dips really, as far as like I was able to tell. It is difficult, but fast and frantic, exactly like you want a shooter. Aesthetically, it is, like I said, bright and colorful, but you can see all the bullets. The like enemy ship sprites range from being like these kind of alien aircraft things to like full on kind of, I wouldn't say body horror type stuff, but maybe a little bit, like just kind of, it covers a range, let's just say. Character art is also really good, albeit, I can definitely see, again, a little bit of low-key horny going on here, which is great. The soundtrack is excellent. It is, it's very much, was made using the kind of sound, the, Yamaha YM whatevers that Genesis and like a lot of Neo Geo and like arcade games used, and the composer does sell the soundtrack separately. It's got 46 tracks and is also $10. You should seek it out and give it a listen. The composer actually is a friend of mine, so that's kind of cool as well. She did a really, really great job on this soundtrack too. But yeah, this is like just one of those, I would definitely say, it's been out for a while, like outside of consoles, but now that it's on consoles, I'm really hoping that this becomes like as much of a classic as it needs to be, because it pretty much hits all the right notes. I definitely had a lot of fun with this one, although of course I have not seen the ending yet or unlocked any of the other ships, because I love shmups and I am not as skilled at them as some, but I'm still plugging away at it.
Got to get those rich kid strats in the game, right?
Right. I was kind of hoping that maybe they would unlock some like higher, continue thresholds like as you put more time into the game, which is what Castle of Shikigami did. Yeah. But no such luck so far. So I'm just gonna have to get good, I'm afraid.
No, it's $10. Is it worth getting good at?
Absolutely, yeah. This is a fantastic shmup. I really, really, really enjoy it, and like I said, it's definitely made with all the love and care that you would expect from people who truly love this genre. So, yeah, go ahead and go get this one. You won't be disappointed.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And with that, we are finished with this episode. We made it through. Thanks everyone for hanging out and being here the whole time. Big thanks to Dave for coming on doing his thing and Andy for doing his thing. Music this episode. Grant, you're here. What should we play from you?
I'm here. We just Viking Guitar just dropped a new Halloween jam. If you want to get in the spirit,
we played that last week.
Then that's not happening.
Yeah. I tagged you on Twitter. You didn't see it, did you?
I didn't. I have not been paying attention to anything.
You made the right decision. Let's be real. Twitter sucks.
Yeah, it's been. Beardo dropped a new.
It's even worse now.
Yeah, actually, Beardo dropped the new Beardo track. It dropped today. It's a new. It's a Halloween 3 cover. It's actually really good. He did that today. I was going to retweet it on Twitter, but he didn't even tweet it at all. So clearly, people are just sort of leaving it in droves.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. I haven't paid attention to Twitter ever since the last thing.
Do you know why they're leaving in droves suddenly?
Because it's terrible.
Yes.
Well, not just that, but there's a specific reason. Yeah, they just changed the terms of service stuff.
Oh, the blocking stuff?
No, worse. Everything you write on there is now being used for their AI bullshit.
Oh,
everything. God. Yeah.
Good. So AI knows I called Elon Musk a turd on Twitter.
I mean, his own Gronk or whatever talked shit about him too.
Yeah. Yeah, should we play Viking Guitar then, or Beardo's new song? You said.
Yeah, I don't have a new jam, so play the Beardo jam.
What's his song? What's the name?
It's from Halloween 3, and it's really good. It's on YouTube. It's on his YouTube channel. I'm sure I imagine he has a download there too.
Cool. So, Mega Beardo, anyone have any final words to end the show?
Bring liquor next week.
It's been a good time. See you next time.
Why are we bringing booze next week? What's next week?
Our episode's on November 5th. I want to be drunk.
Oh.
Yeah,
fair.
Oh, I still remember doing the show live when Trump won.
Ugh.
Oh, that was a shitty episode to do. Oh my God, that episode
while we're recording. Let's not look at anything while we record. I want to record.
I got to drop.
And drunk.
I got to head out.
Okay.
All right. Grant, give us final words.
Love y'all.
Love you too, man.
Have a good Halloween. See you next time.
Cookie.
Cookie.